Good afternoon. Welcome to Mineral Mound State Park. I'm Mike Berry. I'm the Secretary of Tourism, Arts, and Heritage, and we're excited to be here this afternoon on this beautiful day in Western Kentucky. And we're truly proud to have each of you here with us to celebrate the life and the legacy of Cullan Brown. Your attendance further illustrates the incredible impact Cullan had on this community. I want to thank Emily and Rodney Brown and their entire family for your willingness to be here today with us and to share Cullan's story and memory with us. I also want to recognize some of the partners that we have from the community with us today. If you'd hold your applause until I introduce all of them to you. We're very honored to have Representative Chris Friedland from the 6th District of the House. We have, if he's not here yet, he will be, Kentucky Senator Jason Howell. Yeah, the wind. Lyon County Judge Executive Wade White. Livingston County Judge Executive Garrett Gruber. We have the mayor of Eddyville, John Choate, and the mayor of Catawba, Barbara Campbell. We're happy to have with us the Lake Barkley Chamber of Commerce, represented by Deb Domke, Mary O'Farrell from Catawba Tourism, Coach Brian Craig and the University of Kentucky golf team, the Lyon County High School golf team. We also have with us over here on the golf cart Jim Story, who was involved in the founding of this park in the 1960s before Governor Carroll made it a part of the state park system. So we want to thank all of you for being here today and for your partnership. Let's give them all a round of applause. I'm extremely honored to be able to introduce to you the Governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Governor Beshear has been a supporter of tourism for his entire life, but especially during his term as governor, not only keeping Kentuckians and our guests safe during the pandemic, but also supporting us as we have begun to recover. And as you can tell, Kentucky is very blessed that we have so many outdoor attractions and opportunities and a beautiful state park system and golf courses that have just been booming as people look for safe outdoor activities. Also, the governor is no stranger to Western Kentucky, and I know that he enjoys his trips down here. And it is now my pleasure to introduce to you the 63rd Governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Andy Beshear.
Well, thank you all very much. And I want to thank Secretary Berry for that kind introduction. But today, we're here to do right by Cullan and to do right by this community. We're here today to rededicate Mineral Mound State Golf Course in honor of Cullan Brown, whose life and legacy has made such an important impact despite its tragic brevity. It was just 1 year ago yesterday that we lost Cullan. His parents, Emily and Rodney, are with us here today, along with his sister, Cathryn, and several members of their extended family. Well, I'll talk in a minute about how today is one in many ways of celebration of a life and a dedication. The depths of grief for losing a family member and a son are one as a dad I cannot fathom. But I look around and I see a community that is here with you, that loves you, and is here today to support you just like him. Cullan spent countless hours mastering the game on this beautiful golf course along the shores of Lake Barkley, which was built on land once owned by the grandfather of Zelda Fitzgerald. Now, Zelda was a writer and an artist in her own right, her fame, of course, connected to her husband, the great American novelist F. Scott Fitzgerald. Among his well-known quotes, Fitzgerald said, "Show me a hero, and I'll write you a a tragedy. He could have been speaking across the years about this amazing young man, Cullan Brown. From his breakout as a York County high school phenomenon and state champion in 2016 to his dazzling showing at the PGA Barbasol Championships in Nicholasville in 2019 to being named Male Athlete of the Year in 2020 by UK Athletics, Cullan was a hero. Cullan was a hero on the golf course, and every story I learn, I know more and more so off it. After his cancer diagnosis, Cullan continued to inspire his family, his teammates, and his fans with his courageous fighting spirit. I, like most of you, have had close family members go through cancer, and it is hard to summon that strength to be a guiding light to others going through the same thing. The story that his dad shared with me about helping another young boy in this community going through something similar at the same time is nothing short of heroic. Taking that time that is so difficult for you and your family and spending your time helping another person, I think is just a glimpse of God that we saw in this young man. Even coming as it did during a year filled with grief and loss from a worldwide pandemic, Cullan's loss still feels especially cruel and shocking. A young man so full of talent, love, and life taken from us way too soon. It's simply beyond our capabilities for us as humans to comprehend. But I have faith, and my faith teaches me that our body is just a vessel, and our soul so much more. And that while it might be elusive, that we are not alone in our grief. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus said, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted." And in the 34th Psalm, we're told, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He rescues those whose spirits are crushed." Today, we lift up this family. We let them know that they are loved, and we're doing something that makes sure that Cullan will never, ever be forgotten by this community or by this state. While this loss is indeed tragic, I hope what we're doing today can bring many good memories for Cullan, about Cullan, as we move ahead. The measure of Cullan's life is right here as we look around. People from this community, from the University of Kentucky, and from all over the state descending right here today to pay tribute to this young man. Look around you and you see people whose lives were touched. And maybe sometimes we don't think someone this age can touch this many people, but this young man absolutely did. In just 20 short years, he left a legacy that is absolutely worth the naming of this golf course and so much more. And now, as young boys and girls, men and women tee up right here, they get to remember Cullan. They get to remember his greatness and the hard work that he put in it to become so good. What it takes to become UK Athlete of the Year and so much more. But they also remember a great young man with an amazing heart, integrity, who again showed the goodness I think that's inside all of us at times when it is possibly the most difficult to show. So today, I know is a hard day, a year and a day. But it's also a day that we as a Commonwealth say your son will never, ever be forgotten. And all the things that made him so amazing and make him so amazing are going to be shared day in and day out on this golf course. So not only will we see the signs right here naming this golf course the Cullan, not only will it be in every single tourism magazine that talks about golf courses and places to come all over this Commonwealth, but in the pro shop is going to be and is now a plaque that ensures that everyone who comes here and plays can read about and get to know about the Cullan Brown you all found so special. And so I'd like to invite his family up here because we've created a plaque, same plaque, in his honor to make sure they can have that in their home. If y'all would join me. It says, in celebration of the life and legacy of Cullan Brown, the Commonwealth of Kentucky dedicates the golf course at Mineral Mound State Park in honor of the late Lyon County resident. As a lifetime native of Eddyville, Cullan grew up playing at the park with his family and friends. Diagnosed with osteosarcoma in 2020, today we remember Cullan for the incredible impact he had on this community, both on and off the golf course, dedicated on August 9th, 2021. And I just close by, Cullan's dad just mentioned something to me a minute ago. These are still not easy times, and we've been through really hard times. But what he mentioned to me is, Cullan to tell me in my job to do the right thing. I'm going to keep listening to that advice and make sure we do right by him and this entire Commonwealth. God bless. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Governor. At this time, we would be pleased to hear from Cullan's mother, Emily.
First, on behalf of the family, thank you all for being here. Cullan was always the one who could speak in front of crowds, so I've kind of asked him to kind of give Mom a little help today. Cullan grew up here. I can count on one hand the number of times he's probably played a full 18 holes here. He didn't come here to play. He came here to practice because he wanted to get better and work toward his dream of playing on tour. I would drop him off. He would say, "Mom, come get me in 3 hours." And it would be a day similar to this. I'm like, okay. Now, I'm not sure how many hours he spent in the club pro shop up there drinking and talking to people, but at least I thought he was here working the whole time. We are extremely honored, my family, I guess I hope I speak for everyone, for this honor. We thank you all. The day that we were told of this was quite the orchestrated event from above, I believe. Cathryn was playing in Ashland, and she played the round of her career thus far. Am I correct in saying that? Her lowest score ever. And they were like, "Come for an interview." And we were like, "Oh, okay." So we get in this room, and I walk in, and there's my parents, my brother. My brother-in-law was with us, my mother-in-law. And then Russell and Allison were there, and they were supposed to be at my house for a crappie dinner that night, and we had to switch plans. So I didn't know what was going on, and they were like, "We want to FaceTime the governor and Mr. Rocky in." And we're like, "Well, okay, we'll say hi to them." So they got on the phone, and they told us what was going to happen. And to say it was a shock was an understatement and a huge honor. It's our hope that everyone that comes to play this beautiful course plays it like Cullan. He always said, we always say, enjoy the walk. I know walking around here might be a little tough. It's a hard walk if you've ever played this course. But he wanted to always enjoy the walk, and Cullan did that. He had a win on the line coming up, an 18th hole of a tournament one time, and I was his high school coach, laugh of all laughs. But he said, "Mom, you know, that duck right there on that pond's beautiful." I'm like, "Dude, you've got a chance to win this tournament, and you're worried about a duck on the pond?" And he said, "Yeah, Mom." I'm like, "Okay." And you know, he loved food. State tournament, playoff hole. He's talking about what kind of pie he's going to get if he wins the tournament. So That was Cullen, and I want everyone to share that love of the game. And I know this game is tough and it's frustrating. I look at his brothers right here in front of me, and they know how much Cullen kind of took everything in stride, and that's not easy if you're a golfer. But I want that, and I want to share Cullen's memory, share his legacy with all who are here. So thank you. I almost did it without crying.
We're also pleased to have with us today another member of the governor's team, Rocky Adkins, special advisor to the governor, who is a former state legislator, as is our next speaker, except we stole him away from the legislature, and he is now the commissioner of the Kentucky Department of Parks. A few months ago, Commissioner Meyer came to me with the idea of dedicating this beautiful golf course in memory of Cullan Brown. And once I heard more about Cullen's life and his story, recommending that to the governor was an easy task. So as an avid golfer and as somebody who is incredibly fond of the game and was very fond of this young man, I'd like to introduce you to the Commissioner of the Department of Parks, Russ Meyer.
Thank you very much, Secretary Berry, and I want to thank all of you all for coming out. What I'm going to say is just an unbelievable day in Kentucky, and I think you all would agree with this, to have this opportunity to name Mineral Mounds the Cullan. And when I drove in this afternoon, I'd not seen the sign. It hit me right square in the face, and it hit me right in the heart, and it just was awesome to see that sign up there. And, you know, the thoughts that go through my mind at that point were our park system, the golf courses within our park system are about opportunities in this state. They're about economic opportunities for communities like your all's. But it's about opportunities for young men and women that come out here and want to work on their game, like Cullan did, to make something of themselves and get a full scholarship to a university, like the University of Kentucky. And that's an opportunity in itself. And you guys right here at this front table know about that opportunity that you've got. Cullan was a great golfer, but as we all know him outside of your community, you know, Cullan was a guy that could go out and put a 65 on you real quick and spin your head around on the golf course. You didn't know what would happen. But to us, he was a better person and a better cook than that. And Emily and Rodney and Cathryn, the family, and the community here in Eddyville, Catawba, just the land between the lakes area here in West Kentucky, we want to thank you all too for giving Cullan to us and making Cullan what he was and giving him those opportunities to be able to share his life with us outside of your community. And that was just special, and it's just what opportunities bring. And that's what this place is all about, and it's going to be that way for young men and young women coming in behind Cullan's footsteps when they come up here and they get to read about a great young man like Cullan and what he did and the impact on the lives that he made in this community and in Western Kentucky. I want to thank Governor Beshear. I came on my first visit as Parks Commissioner back in March and drove away not knowing that we would have this discussion, but I met with Governor Beshear and Rocky, and we had a discussion about my visits and the Secretary, and we came up with this idea of this naming, and it just, boys, y'all took it and ran with it, and we want to thank you all. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to name the course after such a great young man. Secretary Berry, thank you very much. Open arms, did all he could do to make it work. I want to thank the Secretary of Finance, Holly Johnson. I know she's not here, but but she played a big part in this and getting this done. I want to thank Will Adams, our Deputy Commissioner for Parks. Will played a great role in this and was supportive. Will's from the Western Kentucky area, and you know, his heart's in this, and you know, I know he's extremely proud of this naming and having this opportunity today. I also want to thank Chris Carey and the staff here at Mineral Mounds. What a wonderful job you all done setting this up, working for the last week, getting it ready. I mean, unbelievable. And one person that I know that we haven't mentioned is a past commissioner that I gave a call, and I know he did a great job. He's an avid golfer, and Donnie Holland. Donnie, thank you for coming out here and taking your time to be here. I don't know where you are. I know you were here, but there he is over there. Thank you, Donnie, for coming out today. But I want to thank each and every one of you all again. Just, it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to serve the people in this state. It's an honor to serve the people in your community here. And just thank you for that opportunity from us. But we love you, and we're going to keep working hard for you out there on our park. So enjoy your day and enjoy this moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. After graduating from Lyon County High School, Cullan joined the University of Kentucky men's golf team, where he made an immediate impact on his team both on and off the course. Today we're honored to have Cullan's former teammates and coaches from the University of Kentucky with us. And please join me in welcoming the University of Kentucky men's golf coach, Brian Craig.
I appreciate everybody being here on this special day to honor a uniquely special young man that, if you're here, you know Cullan, you know his story, you know his legacy, and it's truly remarkable. I've had the opportunity to speak a few times about Cullan, and I've talked a ton about his character and his impact on people, and I'm certainly going to touch on that today. But one thing I haven't done a lot of, it seems like, is talk about his golf. And there's some things that I just always think about with him and with golf that I wanted to share with you guys as well. First of all, I am wearing a FootJoy shirt today, you know, in honor of Cullan. He was, you know, at Kentucky, you have to wear Nike stuff. He didn't really like that very much. In fact, I think, Ben, didn't we get him FootJoy pants? I think we got him some FootJoy pants because they fit a little bit better than those athletic cut Nike ones. That don't fit me very well either, actually. But I'm wearing my FootJoy shirt. Cullan wore it all the time, even in the hospital. And the Titleist and FootJoy people would actually send him shirts to wear in the hospital. Truly remarkable young man. But everybody knows he won the high school state championship, almost won it twice. Some of you may not know he finished top 10 in the U.S. junior stroke play portion. That's the most prestigious junior tournament in America. He finished top 10 in that on a tremendous golf course down in Tennessee called the Honors Course. But a couple of things stick out to me that some of you may not know about. One is in the spring of his freshman year. So his fall of his freshman year, he didn't get to play. He had a hurt wrist. Yeah, he hurt it in the summer, really missed the summer, and then missed the fall. Didn't start playing golf again until probably October, middle-ish of October. And so he only had the spring. And that kid in one semester shot 64 out at Vanderbilt in their event, which is I've been in Kentucky 20 years, and we've not had anybody shoot lower than 64. So he has that record tied with a couple people, but not anybody else did it as a freshman. I can tell you that. But the best story is this. So we're playing qualifying, and he's getting where he can play again, but he literally hasn't played in months. I mean, I'm talking probably 4 or 5 months. He hadn't played, probably longer than that, actually. But he's just started where he can hit balls again. He went out by himself or maybe with a friend like on a Sunday afternoon and played like 6 holes. And he's like, hey, Coach, I want to try to play at Keene Run with the guys on Monday, Tuesday, whatever day it was. And we said, and the guys were playing qualifying rounds, so they're playing for score. And we said, well, yeah, you sure you can do it? And he said, yeah, I feel good I can do it. So we paired him with Russ's son here, Commissioner Meyer's son, Fred Allen. And we're playing Keen Run, which is a course in our community that we play quite often. And the kid hadn't played golf in months and months and months, and he shoots like 36, if I'm not mistaken, on the front nine. So played solid, right? Played okay. He shot 29 on the back nine. 29. Shot 65 for the day. Was low amongst the guys by probably 3 or 4 shots. And it was the first round of golf he had played in all that time. And that to me, that still blows me away that he had the ability to do that from a golf standpoint after all that time off. I just think about that often, especially when we're out at Keen Run playing with the guys. But I do have a favorite story with Cullan in golf. And most of you know that he played in the Barbasol PGA Tour event in Lexington after his freshman year, which is a huge honor to get in that. I mean, he got a sponsor exemption into that from the Barbasol people. And he had, who caddied for him the first round? It was Barry. Where's Barry? Where's Barry? All right, there's Barry. That's right, yeah. So Barry gets basically a heat stroke after 2 rounds there because it literally was about 100 degrees and humid and hot and everything. And so I actually was not there. Unfortunately, I had a long planned trip to be somewhere for a graduation for one of my children. But I was staying in, I was literally following the hole by hole, every hole I would click, every hole, every hole, every hole, every hole. And actually every shot, really, because you can do that on the PGA Tour app. And I find out through Ben, my assistant, that Barry can't caddy on the weekend. We got to find a caddy for him on the weekend. I'm texting with Ben. It's 45 minutes before Cullan tees off. We think Ben's going to caddy for him. But I'm like, Ben, I don't think you can caddy for him because of the NCAA rules. And so now it's like half hour before he's about to play in a tour event on the weekend. Doesn't know who his caddy is 30 minutes before he's going to tee off. And so we finally get to somebody in our compliance office. Yeah, Ben, you can't caddy. Well, Rodney steps up and says, I'll caddy. Right? Well, Rodney's, he's a strong guy, athletic. He can carry that bag no problem at all, right? So Rodney caddies for him, right? Well, Cullan, and again, I'm following it hole by hole. Cullan made a bogey early, if I'm not mistaken, and then he birdied 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 in a PGA Tour event after his freshman year of college. And number 9's a par 3 at Champions. That's where they're playing. And you have to walk around the lake after you hit it on the green. And Cullan had hit on the green about 30 feet or something like that. And they're walking around the lake. And you got to understand when you're a PGA Tour caddy, there's etiquette, there's protocols, there's things that if you don't do it, like you're uncomfortable and you're just trying not to mess up. You're just trying not to mess up. So your focus may be on not messing anybody else up, not as much maybe on your player, because Cullan obviously could handle all the other stuff pretty easily. I mean, he plays tournament golf all the time, right? So they're walking around the lake, and he looks at his dad and says, 6 in a row would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? And Rodney says, what? And he goes, 6 birdies in a row would be pretty cool, right? And Rodney said, what? He said, Dad, I've birdied the last 5 holes. And Rodney was so busy just trying to keep up with what was going on, he didn't even know he'd birdied 5 in a row. And I honestly think and know that Barry not being able to go on the weekend and Rodney caddying for him was totally orchestrated by God, totally an unbelievable weekend experience. It was the last tournament that Cullan played in. Rodney got to caddy for him. My favorite picture of the whole family is that picture of y'all at the Barbasol, and Rodney's got his caddy bib on, and Cathryn's there, and Emily's there. That's my favorite picture of you guys that I have, and I just that's just something we think about often. I think about often. From a golf standpoint, Cullan wasn't the type of young man to go see a sports psychologist. He was the type of young man that a sports psychologist might come see him and find out how he thinks that way, because he was so unbelievably gifted with his mind and how he thought, and just nothing bothered him. Those of you who knew Cullan off the golf course, he was that way. As soon as he finished a round of golf, he was always that same exact young man, and it didn't matter if he shot 65 or 78, if he played poorly, if he played well, it didn't matter. He was exactly the same way. He did not have his identity tied up into golf, which my team and I know sometimes we can do that. That's easy to do. Or it may be work, maybe whatever you do. His identity was rooted in something a lot deeper than that and a lot more eternal than that. And it's just amazing the legacy that he's left our team on on mindset, on attitude, on perspective, on what's important, what matters most. And for a young person to have that kind of perspective, usually it takes years and years and years to get that. And he just had it. Rodney and I have talked about this before. God made Cullan different. He made him different. And Rodney and Emily did an unbelievable job of raising him. Unbelievable job of raising him. He was in the right family. I mean, unbelievable. But God made him different. He made him different. He was something special that I don't think I'll ever experience again. When you talk about his character, it'd be easy to think that that Commissioner Meyer or Governor Beshear made this happen. And with all due respect, man, Cullan made this happen by his character. And the way he treated people. I mean, there's three things that really jumped out to me with Cullan's character. One was the way he loved his family and treated his family. Like, I've got boys, and let me tell you, I'm envious. I mean, like it's just unbelievable, the relationship that they have, that they had with Cullan. I mean, it was absolutely what anybody would want to have. And it just blew me away. I think it was one of the reasons I gravitated to the family so much in the recruiting process, because I was just, they made me feel that way too. Made me feel like family, and still do. The way he treated people, our teammates, right? Anybody we came into contact with, you always felt better when you left being with Cullan. You always felt better. And I saw, Emily, where you posted the other day, that he always knew the right thing to say and the right thing to do. And really, when I read that, like, a light went off with me. Like, he did. Like, it could be anything. It could be something light, something heavy, something faith-based, something golf-wise. He just knew what to say and how to handle it with people. He just was gifted in that way, and it was remarkable. And the third thing was the way he loved the Lord. And he didn't try to shove it down your face or anything like that. He just lived his life in a way that was consistent with his relationship with Christ and his values, and he treated people that way. And you couldn't help but notice. I mean, you couldn't help but see that and see that he was different and be gravitated to that. I know I was gravitated to that. Our teammates were. And it didn't matter if you were young or old. I mean, Cullan got along with everybody the same. And truthfully, he probably would rather sit down and eat a lunch or a dinner with an old guy like me than he would a 20-year-old, because he was an old soul in a young body. I mean, none of you guys listen to that kind of old country music he used to listen to, right? I mean, he listened to the stuff that, like, Emily and Rodney grew up listening to. That's what he loved, didn't he, Emily? Y'all would go to concerts for that. It was people I didn't know the names of. He'd tell me he was going to a concert, and I didn't even know who it was, because it was somebody that actually used to sing way back when, but they're doing like a reunion tour or something. And he knew every word to all those songs. He was an old soul in a young man's body. And I'll tell you this, two things that I'll close with is, one, I was with the Brown family a ton during the whole treatment, everything that went on. And, sometimes you see the heart of Christ and the love of Christ in people. And I saw that with Rodney and Emily every single day. And the whole family. But every single day. That boy was not alone for 1 second. Rodney used to sleep on those roll-up foam things in the hospital floor. Emily slept on the couch. The team would come see him. The guys were unbelievable, obviously, as well. When he was in the hospital, when we could. Some of the COVID stuff were into that, but we got in there, or the guys were able to get in there a good bit. But I saw the love of Christ with Rodney and Emily every single moment. Not even like, I don't even mean like there was a second off. I mean, they were there. In fact, I even said something to Emily one time. I can't remember what it was, Emily, but I brought up something, and you just looked at me and said, "I'm not leaving my boy." Because I think I was maybe encouraging her to go watch you play a basketball game or something, Cathryn, because you were going to be in the area. And she said, "I'm not leaving my boy." And of course, y'all have such a tight-knit family. I mean, you have everybody there supporting. It was amazing. And we were in that hospital. I can remember a number of times we were in that hospital room, and I thought the nurses might come in, and especially when you guys were there, I thought the nurses and staff might come in and tell us to pipe down a little bit, because there was hooting and hollering going on there. There was laughing. There was, it was Cullan. That's what you did with Cullan. He still had that sense of humor that was off the charts, and it would be a little party in there. There was food galore in there. It was just literally, I thought at some point in time they might come in there and ask us to quiet down a little bit because of the way everybody interacted with Cullan. He made an unbelievable impact on the staff there, the people there. You can't even imagine. You can't even imagine the impact this young man had on people. If I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. If I'm lucky enough to live to be 90, I will not impact as many people as he did at 20. There's no chance. Look at this. And this is part of it. There's other things that are being named after him, tournaments and trophies and just all kinds of things. And it's because of who he was and because of how his family raised him. And the last thing I want to say is this. I know I've been to Cullan's gravesite a couple times, and I know Rodney and Emily have been a lot of times. And that's really hard. But I can tell you this, he's not there. He is not there. He is in heaven reaping his eternal glory right now, and he's having the best time, way better time we are, right? He's up there right now embarrassed and probably going, I can't believe they're doing this. But he is not there. I promise you that. And you will see him again, and we will see him again, and his mission was accomplished. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Craig. Cullan's love of golf was fueled not only by his family, but as well as two coaches that made an impact on his life and his love of the game. We're honored to be joined by Coach Todd Mills and Coach Nick Trimble from the golf complex. Sorry, would I get that wrong? Todd, sorry. Yep, can't even read. Coach Todd Mills and Coach Trimble from the golf complex in Paducah. So we're going to let you speak first, and then you're next.
Yeah, he just combined us, Governor. It's okay. I'm the baby of 4, and by the time my dad got to my name, he called me Larry, so it's okay. If you come from a large family, that's the way it goes. I thought about what to say, and I was sitting over there, and I've listened to all the speakers, and they've just been wonderful. And of course, my time with Cullan was special, and I thought, well, I'll just get up there and talk from the heart when the time comes. But if I had to have a conversation with him, he'd just say, just say something simple. Why don't you just say something a little funny, and why don't you say something about faith? But before I go into it, and it's not going to take long, there are 3 little short stories. If I had to turn him over to a man of integrity and of kindness and of gentleness and of goodness and of faithfulness and all those things, I turned him over to a good man. I sure did. He had a couple of good men in his life growing up. I'm looking at one right back there. Hey, Unc. Jay standing back there. Jay affectionately called him boy, and Cullan called him Unc. And in the country, boy is an endearing term of love. And I can still hear Jay saying that. He loved you a lot, Unc. That's for sure. But I'm going to allude to the story you told about his wrist. And I've never seen a kid get to work so hard in my entire life. And they would drive him from here, and they would drive him to the golf complex. And it was almost every other day. And that kid was wearing it out. He wanted to play on the UK team. He talked about his buddies, and he talked about his team, and he wanted to play. And whether it was Jay bringing him or Rodney was standing there or Emily, somebody was there and had him there practicing and taking lessons. And the story about Simple goes, he was getting ready to leave, and I said, hey, man, we want to pray this thing in there or anything? And he said, he loved 2 words. He loved the word sure. And he loved to say, I've got it. And he'd say, you say a prayer for me when I get up there. And I said, I sure will. And I said, hey, listen, let's go back to the way it was when you were simple, when you were a little kid. Why don't we just start this thing kind of right center, and wherever it ends up, we'll just kind of roll a putt, take the score, and go on the next hole. And he looked at me and he said, well, I ain't never changed yet. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I should have told him. The kid was just good to me. My times up here walking a fairway with him or at another public golf course and just standing there watching him hit balls and talk to him was always so special. And I used to go home at night, and every now and then I would just kind of Google a little something, and I'd type his name in to see where he was, because Cullan may have won a tournament and he never tell you. He may have done this. He may have done this for a charity or this for a person or spoken to a young man's life, and he would never tell you. So often I would Google him, try to find the news or something. So it's a Saturday night. He'd had a lesson that Sunday, and it's during the time we're getting ready to have the eclipse. So there was a food shortage everywhere. Now, don't go there yet. So anyway, I Googled Cullan Brown, and up comes this local news thing, and they had caught Cullan walking into IGA. Now, y'all don't know this story. This is hilarious. So I call him afterwards, and he goes, I was just going to go buy in some chicken to grill. And he said, can you believe that guy caught me? Well, this guy doesn't know who Cullan is. So he's got the mic, and he's holding the camera at the same time, and he goes, Cullan, he said, sir, what's your name? And he said, well, I'm Cullan Brown. And you could see the smile on his face. He'd get them cheeks kind of going this way. And he said, with everything going on, he goes, what do you think's the most important food that you could possibly have during the eclipse? And Cullan's standing beside the potato chips, and he reaches over there and he grabs a pack of barbecue potato chips, and he goes, barbecue Lays, let me tell you. And he went on to talk about it for a minute, and they had to cut him off. Anyway, but that's just him, and that speaks to his love and his joy and his peace for the fellow. He would stop if somebody stopped by the bay during the lesson, open the door. Cullan would stop and just talk to him for a minute. We could be out on the golf course. Cullan would always stop and he would talk for a minute because he had great faith, and he believed that you need to speak into another person's life. And let me give you just a short story of faith. And the proudest day of his life, I know it was the day he got to sign for UK in front of his family and friends. And so we all take off work and we come up and we go get signed and watch him get signed. And Cathryn's all over the place as usual. You can't kind of hone her down. And anyway, he finally signs and everything's good. And we go to the local church, and the whole community had come out. And boy, just when you're in the country and the people decide to fix food, and they're going to have a big buffet, and we're all excited. We're standing there talking. And I looked at him and I said, here's your chance for our faith. I said, let's grab this. I said, you want me to take it or you want to take it? He said, oh, no, I got this. And he walked up there and he said the most beautiful prayer over his people that he loved. And when I stand here and tell you he loved the people of Western Kentucky, he loved people everywhere he went, that's for sure. And I am blessed to be able to stand here and be able just to tell you just a story or two about a man who lived a simple life, who loved you with all that he had, who had integrity, who had those things. But you know what? He had faith in everybody that he met. It was powerful. Thank you. Okay.
Well, that's going to be hard to follow. We've told a lot of Cullan stories today, but I just want to briefly give you a quick thought on what I think we're doing here today and what I think it can do moving forward. So thank you to all of you who had a hand in letting this happen. I think it's a wonderful day for our golf community. I think it's a good honor for the family, and I think it's a good tribute to my friend Cullan Brown. Rodney and Emily brought Cullan to me for golf lessons, and he was just a little guy. He was a little guy at one point. So I've had years with Cullan and years with the family. We developed a really close friendship over that time. And I think all during that time, I kind of assumed that the predominant thing that was happening with our hours on the golf course and hours in the lesson studio was me teaching Cullan about the game of golf. Then in the last couple of years, reflecting on our relationship after his diagnosis, it became obvious to me that's not what was going on. Cullan was teaching me a lot more about life than I ever taught him about golf. And I think that's what can happen here. Hopefully he can continue to touch people the way he's touched all of us, but hopefully also the new people that he never met. And I know it would be important for Cullan for him to be able to touch the kids that come here to play. Maybe they drive in, they see the sign, and they start asking, who's that guy on the sign, or who's Cullan? And they're not going to have to ask very many people around here, and they'll hear all about him. Or maybe it's just his spirit and his presence here that kind of instill in them the character traits that Cullan so obviously had and that our great game encourages and rewards. So I just feel like moving forward, that is good for everybody if he can touch them, because I firmly believe that we could all stand to be a little more like Cullan. So thank you again for all those that had a hand in doing this, and thank you guys for letting me be here and celebrate a great day with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you both for being here today and for your heartfelt words. Now we're going to ask everybody to transition over to hole 1 for the official ribbon cutting and the ceremonial tee-off by Cullan's sister, Cathryn. So, if you want to follow us over there, this is all being done courtesy of the Lake Barkley Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.
Hey guys, Emma Talley here. I'm in Europe at the moment and I just woke up, but I wanted to hop on here and say thank you to Rodney, Cathryn, and Emily for letting me speak today. I wish I could be there in person, but I'm there in spirit. I want to thank the governor and Russell Meyer for making this happen. It's so incredible what you guys have done to make this happen. I love the golf ball. It's super, super cool. I know Cullan would be so honored and thankful that you guys are doing this. Mineral Mound holds a special place in both mine and his heart. I spent a lot of time growing up playing that golf course, and he did too. I have to say though, my dad and Cullan spent a lot more time together at that course than I did with him because I was off at college. But I do know the last time we played there, Cullan beat me, so I'm sure he's laughing about that right now. I know Cullan made a difference in so many people's lives all around the country, all around the world, and I know that he would be embarrassed almost that we're all here dedicating this golf course to him, but I know he'd be so thankful and so honored. I can't wait to get home and play the Cullan. Cathryn will have a match, and Rodney, Emily, and Cathryn, and the rest of the family. I know that this day has to be bittersweet. Lots of hugs and kisses from Europe, and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much, and the Cullan will be an amazing place to continue his legacy. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you all so much for joining us today. I'm Deb Domke with the Lake Barkley Chamber of Commerce, and you know, as I've sit here and heard the stories and the touching stories of the life of Cullan, you know, Danielle had asked me to give a quote, and my quote was you know, the people that walk this course, when I was thinking about it, people that walk this course are walking in the footprints of Cullan. And as you hear the spirit of his personality and the life he lives and how he lived his life, every person from here on out is going to be walking the footprints of Cullan Brown. So thank you, family. Thank you, Governor. Thank you to the state of Kentucky for renaming this course the Cullan. So, Emily, I think it's time to cut the ribbon.
Ready, 1, 2, 3.